When relating anger to sports, famous and controversial coach Bobby Knight is frequently brought up, as he would make angry speeches to get a rise out of his players. The coach wanted a strong emotional reaction to get the team to prevail. Anger can create action and the will to change, but it is also tricky. Aristotle believed to be angry with the right person at the right time, for the right purpose and the right way, that is not within everyone's power, and that is not easy. There's no question that Malcolm X was angry for the right reasons, but whether or not he did it in the right way is another question entirely. Malcolm X is one of the most complex and controversial figures in American history. There's no doubt that there needed to be change in a racist American society when Malcolm X rose to prominence as a speaker for the Nation of Islam. But how has that change to come? Well, there are organized, nonviolent sit-ins and boycotts that try to combat racism and promote equal rights. Malcolm X was going much further in saying, fine, there will be segregation, but because blacks are superior to whites, instead of vice versa. Malcolm was interested in speeding the process of civil rights through any means necessary, as he famously quoted for saying. Similar to the Black Panther movement during the same time period, Malcolm believed that self-defense, and sometimes violence, was necessary to combat racism in the United States. He would outline his points, passionately and with conviction, like we see here, where a photograph was taken by an unknown photographer at a speech in 1964. Malcolm's critics point out how he was extreme in the way that he called for the progress of black people. But when leaders like Martin Luther King were asking for integration and conciliation, Malcolm X was extreme, but at a time when extremity was justified. He was simply reacting to the racism he had dealt with his entire life. In the picture shown here, we can see Malcolm, wearing his signature black rimmed glasses. He's speaking. He is both confident and aggressive. We can see the anger behind the man as he points ahead, maybe to European imperialists or another group that he believes have done wrong. He uses his anger to relate to the audience, because after all, many Americans were frustrated with the way the African Americans were being treated. He wants action and he wants revolution, and many people responded to him. It turned out that there was a growing discontent of Malcolm X within the Nation of Islam itself. One reason was a growing jealousy of his rise in popularity. Towards the end of his life, after he left the Nation of Islam, Malcolm started to push towards a more moderate viewpoint on civil rights, offering cooperation with other nonviolent activists. Shortly after his departure from the group, on March 8, 1964, he was assassinated by members of the Nation of Islam. Now, more than 40 years after Malcolm's death, we can say we have come a long way in creating a fair and equal American society, where people of all kinds of backgrounds can live together peacefully. In the end, the goal of the civil rights movement was achieved, and Malcolm X would argue that his means, no matter how controversial, were definitely justified.